Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 between Vici-Gaming and Mineski. Mineski, if you have not watched the previous game, please click the link that will be on your bottom left of the screen to watch the previous video. But spoiler alert, Mineski, after putting up a pretty good fight, unfortunately didn't end up losing to Vici-Gaming as the game went on. As Vici-Gaming, interesting first ban, they banned the Spectre, as I'm not really too sure what this means. I think it might just be a sort of quote-unquote ship ban. And when a team does this, it usually just means that they want to leave as many powerful heroes in the pool as possible. So I expect Vici-Gaming to try to get their hands on something like the Bat Rider or something close to that. But anyway, just a couple of things before this game gets underway in the pick and ban phase. Yes, this is game 2, so Mineski, if they win this game, they will be able to move on to game 3. If Vici-Gaming move on, they will send Mineski to the losers bracket of the Group B of the Eastern Qualifiers, and I should be able to cast a couple more games because the Eastern Qualifiers are pretty interesting for the most part, so I hope to bring you some more casts. Also, I will be bringing you some casts from the raid called Dota 2 League, the newest season, which is Season 3. And also, one last thing is that, for some reason, the sort of like some stuttering on my last video. I'm not too sure what caused it. I think it might just be a YouTube problem because that has never really happened before ever since I got my new computer, which was last year. So I'm not too sure what exactly went on there, but hopefully it fixed. I tweaked some settings, but I mean, if it happens again, it's pretty much just on YouTube's end. So I do apologize, but I'm not too sure how I can fix it if that is going to be the case for this game. But hopefully it won't be the case. And Vici-Gaming, they're going to pick up the Lifestealer. Me on Mineski, most assuredly, will try to get the Bat Rider and maybe something else, probably a support to help fortify their tri-lane. So Lifestealer, of course, is a very powerful hero, very common, picked up in both the eastern and the western scenes. Of course, you all know why he's extremely strong, has built-in magical immunity, does a lot of damage, very mobile when you can infest people, but if he's behind, he's not nearly as mobile. And yes, we are going to see Mineski pick up the Barada, of course, probably the best initiator in the game. And Mineski also going to pick up the Gyrocopter, so perhaps respecting the Gyrocopter being played by XTT. Gyrocopter is pretty much what won Vici-Gaming in the game, as Vici-Gaming going to pick up Visage yet again. And this Tron is going to be a lot more dangerous than the last Vici-Gaming Tron, which they did manage to win quite decisively. But what I'm on the lookout for this game for Mineski is hopefully the carry player, Yanni, can get himself back in the game, as he had a very miserable drought experience, not only in the trial, but just in terms of farming. And I'm expecting that this will be a carry Gyrocopter, because Gyrocopter, in order to make the best usage of him, in order to maximize his flat cannon damage output, you probably should play him as a carry. And he does reasonably well against the trial. But unfortunately, Vici-Gaming, their trying is going to be on the offensive, and their trying so far is looking up to be, or shaping to be very dangerous. Visage, even though he didn't have that much impact in the opposing tri-lane in the previous game and didn't have too much impact as the game went on, is still very powerful late game support. And if he manages to get ahead, he can stay ahead, as his nukes do sort of scale pretty well as the game goes on, especially since the cooldown is so low. Vici-Gaming also going to pick up the Magnus, so they're going to get their solo mid position as well as trying to fortify their team fight. And when worse comes to worse, they do have the RP in their back pocket in case Gyrocopter becomes too big of a problem. But back to Visage, this drone is going to be super aggressive, and Lifestealer and Visage, not only does Visage outrange the Gyrocopter, and Lifestealer has the same base move speed with the Gyrocopter so he can keep up, Gyrocopter's rather squishy, and most of his damage when you dive him comes from his Rocket Barrage, but Lifestealer doesn't really care about the Rocket Barrage so much because he has Rage, and Rage will just laugh at that Gyrocopter's Rocket Barrage damage, even in the early levels. I mean, 2 seconds of Rage, keep in mind Rocket Barrage only lasts for 3 seconds at a time, so, I mean, so far, Vici-Gaming's Tron is looking incredibly deadly. And Mineski, they do have a Rubik, but still, I'm not too sure what that will do. So I'm expecting Mineski perhaps to dodge a tri-lane and maybe sort of sacrifice one of their heroes to safe lane and just say, alright, try to deal with this tri-lane by yourselves. But if they do that, Vici-Gaming will probably just rotate their tri-lane around. So right now, Mineski, I think they're a little bit behind in terms of the lane advantage just off the bat, but they do have some pretty good mid-game heroes. Rubik, of course, can potentially steal the RP at a moment's notice. Barada, one of the best initiators in the game, if not the best initiator, just because Lasso is a lot more guaranteed. And Lasso will go through that magical immunity that Lifestealer does manage to get for himself when he does use the Rage. So there is a counter to Lifestealer in that regard. And also, if you manage to grab Magnus, then there goes a lot of Vici-Gaming's teamfight control. So, I mean, Mineski definitely has some very powerful heroes, but their laning setup is really not equipped to deal with the Vici-Gaming's trial at this precise moment. So, Mineski, noticing that Vici-Gaming still needed support, they're going to be at the Nyx as well as the Sven, so they want to get rid of the Sven-Magnus combination, as well as perhaps reducing the amount of mid-game DPS that can be thrown on, because Batrider, even though he's reasonably tanky, can be brought down very quickly by a Sven lifesteal combination, even if it is 3 melee heroes, and Sven is pretty solid at breaking the base, just because he does immense amounts of damage and has a lot of armor that he can grant to his entire team as well. So, Mineski gonna ban out a pretty strong carry, and NA, of course, a very, very powerful support these days. Meanwhile, Vici-Gaming ban out the Clockwork, noticing that Mineski have yet to pick up their offlane hero. And Mineski could put Baron in the offlane, and if he fails in the offlane, he can go back in the jungle. He could be placed mid as well. Baron, a very, very versatile laner. Vici-Gaming also banning out the TA, so getting rid of the TA, which gave Vici-Gaming a little bit of a scare in the last game. JVN played a remarkable TA in the game before, so Vici-Gaming definitely respecting that and noticing that TA does do quite well against Vici-Gaming's lineup, gonna remove that from the pool altogether, as well as banning out the Silencer. And that Silencer was a direct correlation to why Lina was picked up, because Lina solely relies on that on that spellcasting burst damage. Also, Silencer, if you manage to pop the Global Silence before Lifesteal can get his rage off, suddenly, what can Lifesteal do? Suddenly, what will Magnus do? Magnus will blink in and just be like, oh well, that sucks. Meanwhile, Mineski gonna pick up Keeper of the Light, so they are gonna fortify their backlane support. And I think this is probably the best support that Mineski could have possibly gotten. They got a very defensive Tron support, and Illuminate will do a lot of damage and drive out Visage as well as Lina from the lane. Assuming, of course, they can manage to spam it repeatedly. But, I mean, you have Rubik to hold people in place, you have Gyrocopter, Rocket Brush to do a lot of damage, and you have Illuminate constantly keeping people back. So, I think Mineski, Keeper Light, was a really, really smart choice, just to help them get through the laning phase, where right now Vici-Gaming does have a very, very fearsome aggressive try. You know, Vici-Gaming, interestingly enough, picking up the Queen of Pain. So, Vici-Gaming, what this means is that they're going to do an aggressive challenge to Leicester, put Magnus most likely on the safe lane, or put Queen of Pain on the safe lane, and the other person mid. Now, Magnus will probably go on the safe lane just because he can bottle crow and doesn't really need the runes as much, but Queen of Pain, if she manages to pick up a rune, can definitely go a lot more aggressive than the Magnus in terms of ganking the challenge. So I think Queen of Pain will probably be mid, and Queen of Pain does beat mid in most matchups, but Mineski, interesting enough for Vici-Gaming, they did not ban out the Puck, so I think Mineski will probably pick up the Puck in this situation because Puck does do very, very well against Queen of Pain, assuming that, of course, the lags are even, so Puck can, of course, dodge the Shadow Strike whenever it is casted. And keep in mind, it was the Southeast Asians as well as the Asians who brought Puck into popularity. In the ending of Dota 1, Puck was a very, very solid hero, and I fully expect Puck to be picked up right now by Mineski. What I'm a little bit worried about for Mineski is that they might not have too much damage until Gyrocopter gets Mega Farm. They really have no physical damage outside of the Gyrocopter, and heroes like Lifestealer, and if Magnus picks up a BKB, if Quap rushes a BKB, how are they going to kill these heroes without Gyrocopter getting a ridiculous amount of farm? So I think Gyrocopter might be a bit overburdened, but assuming Mineski plays their cards right, if they gank very well with the fast dagger up on the Batrider, then Mineski should be okay going into the mid to late stages of the game. But so far, if you just judge the draft, I think I like Vici-Gaming's draft a little bit more. They have a lot of damage in the form of Lifesteal as well as Queen of Pain. They have really, really strong teamfight control. They have ridiculous lanes. I mean, they pretty much will win their aggressive try for the most part, unless Illuminate just completely wrecks Vici-Gaming. Queen of Pain will probably do pretty well against Puck, but Puck, more often than not, can beat Queen of Pain. And Magnus doesn't really need to win his lane. He just needs to get farm as well as experience. So, introducing the players and teams on both sides. Vici-Gaming from China. CTY is playing the Queen of Pain, so he is going to be playing mid. ZSMJ is playing the Lifestealer. XTT is playing the Magnus. FY is playing the lead. And Fenrir is going to be playing the Visage yet again. Meanwhile, on the side of Mineski from the Philippines, we are going to have Oa playing the Rubik. Fat Dog is playing the Keeper of the Light. Jay is playing the Puck. Yanni is playing the Gyrocopter. And JVN is playing the Batrider. So I guess Jay will go in the off lane. And Batrider will be taking the mid-solo role up against the Quap. And Batrider versus Quap is more often than not in Quap's favor because she has more range, she can escape from sticky napalm stacks relatively easily, and she has enough damage to keep Batrider back, so it might be more prudent for Mineski to actually put Puck in the mid lane, but I mean, Batrider gonna rush the ball. Bat won't probably die to the Quap, but I don't think he'll do that well either. I don't know how fast he can get his stagger up. I mean, he'll probably get it a lot more easily up against Magnus, and I think Mineski probably have to figure that Queen of Pain will be going mid, and Magnus will be going bottom. But, I mean, they could expect other things. In Filipino games, more often than not, Queen of Pain does tend to go in one of the side lanes along with the puck, so that might just be a lack of knowledge on how Vici-Gaming will play this, but I mean, just judging by the players, you know, C2Y is the mid player for Vici-Gaming, so yeah, I don't know how well Barrett can honestly do in this matchup. He can't really ever kill the Quap, and Quap, of course, has longer range, better attack animation, and should be able to do reasonably well up against the Barrett. But actually, Jay is going to go in the mid lane, and Magnus is going in the mid lane as well, so a little bit of interesting mind games going on, as I think Jay was expecting the Quap like I was, because CTY was playing the Quap, but XTT is actually going in the mid lane. And this mid matchup should go in favor of Puck. He can dodge shockwaves very easily. He has range. He can push the wave out a little bit more early on. And me on the bottom lane, Batrider, I think has a slightly better time just because if he manages to get enough stacks, he won't have to dive into a tower for the Fireflies. So actually, these lanes are going a bit better for Mineski than I would have considered previously. Visage was able to pick up first blood as I was talking about the lanes, so we'll just see how that happened. But yeah, this is the power of Vici-Gaming's aggressive shine, as we're going to see FY just cut down some trees. No, just not even using it. Here comes the open woods. Yanni taking Loud Edge. Light Strike Ray is going to be in position, and the Soul Assumption just going to work. Unfortunately, I think the Telekinesis was just a little bit delayed, as Leicester didn't even have the rage, so a bit of a slow reaction time by Owa. I think he would have been able to save the Gyrocopter if he managed to get the Telekinesis up a little bit earlier. But as it is, Visage going to pick up the first blood, and that is going to be very, very good, as that'll be upgraded Courier, as well as, I mean, just a lot of dominance being exerted over the Gyrocopter very early on. I mean, Fenrir just going to pop Clarity. Keep in mind, Soul Assumption is very, very expensive in terms of mana, but I mean, it will get better as he gains levels. What is annoying for Vici-Gaming, of course, being in the aggressive challenge position, is that they won't really get as much experience on the sports unless they get kills, because Mineski can get experience from pulls, and Vici-Gaming, of course, not as easy. Of course, they could be able to pull this lane if they really want to, but I mean, they want to sort of always be in position to pick up some kills, especially with the Leicester, who has such an easy time setting up his ganks. You know, you can see Batrider, just because he's not really afraid of tower diving, or because he has a lot easier time. I mean, when this lane pushes out, if he gets enough stacks, keep in mind, Blink of 1 is quite short range, so Queen of Pain can't really get back close enough to her tower, but you can see Queen of Pain going back on the offensive flame break, gonna push the Quap back, and Batrider gonna have to retreat, but JVN already picked up a salve, as well as a stout shield, so gonna take a lot less reduced harassment, but now he's completely out of mana, so he is gonna have a difficult time getting himself back in this lane. As really, really nice awareness by C2I. Saw the Batrider pop the salve, immediately blink forward and cancel it, and that is gonna be, I mean, Batrider was close to getting 500 HP, and now he's at 260 just on the back of C2I's great map awareness. And that single move might have won Queen of Pain in the lane, because now Batrider has to go all the way back to the fountain. He could have perhaps stayed in the lane if he managed to heal up to full HP, but now he sort of has to go back, unless he manages to ferry himself some more clarities, as I think that is, I don't know if that's his bottle or if that's just another salve. I think that might just be another salve. You know, ZSMJ approaching Owa on the top lane, ZSMJ getting lifted up and thrown back. ZSMJ, of course, Leicester does have higher than average base movement speed, but unfortunately not fast enough to catch the rig. Meanwhile, XTT picked up a haste rune, looking to initiate on the Keeper of the Light, and unfortunately will be thwarted, as where is Bat? Oh, that was Bat's bottle, so I guess he picked up a fast ball and managed to pick up the Stout Shield and salve regardless. And he did go for a Bottle Rush spell at the beginning, that's why I was a bit puzzled why he picked up the Stout Shield as well as a salve, but maybe that's Puck's bottle. Actually, that could be Puck's bottle, and Puck was just being a good cemetery. Almost pulled a Luminous. I was about to call him good cemeterian. Good Samaritan. So, if that is the case, well done by Puck. Allowed Batrider to sustain himself in lane, but Queen of Pain taking very, very great advantage of that lack of Batrider being in lane presence, managed to boost herself up to 7 more additional CS compared to the Batrider. And giving the Batrider the bottle means that Jay gonna have to play a bit more passively against Magnus, but Jay right now is dominating the mid lane, as well as he should. Puck versus Magnus. I mean, Magnus doesn't really have any chance in hell of killing the Puck, because Puck can escape very easily, and he doesn't have any form of range harassment, so that means Phase Shift will always be up to sort of cancel or to dodge the shockwave, as long as Jay does not get juked out, which, I mean, XT is doing a good job trying to bait out the phase shifts, but still, it's a bit of a tricky situation for XTT. But I mean, Magnus, he doesn't really need to win the lane, he just needs to not die, pick up the arcane boots, go for the dagger, and then, I mean, his job is done. As Miol looks like some mutually assured destruction on the bottom lane. I'm just going to rewind that to see exactly what happened. Look like 2 stacks, Flamebreak going to push the Queen of Pain back, and actually the third stack gave Barrett enough damage to kill off the Queen of Pain, so nicely done. And that means Barrett was able to get the kill and get a bit more experience. You can see Barrett now has an experience advantage over the Queen of Pain, so really, really nicely done by the Barrett. But yeah, all the while in the top lane, you can see this tri lane not working out as great as expected because the Keeper Light probably keeping people back, as well as Mineski just playing super defensively. And Mineski played defensively in the last game, but it did come back to bite him in the ass a little bit, as they're going to be initiation onto Yanni as the Illuminate will be in position. Lina was lifted up, so they couldn't get the Light Strike Array up on the Gyrocopter, but it doesn't matter. Soul Assumption does so much damage that Gyrocopter never really stood a chance in hell of escaping. And I'm a bit surprised Gyrocopter didn't pick up something like a Magic Stick or a Wraith Band, instead went for that Basilius Rush, as spell damage, every bit of extra HP you need, will be very, very beneficial, but I'm not too sure how much Basilius will do right now. I mean, he wants Ring of Aquila, but still, in this lane, I think you just want as much HP as possible, because you're definitely not going to go on the offensive against a Lifestealer. As Jay taking a lot of damage, XCT going to be driven away, as Jay trying to go for the kill. The rune will spawn relatively soon, but looks like Magnus will just skewer on out of there. XGT has another bottle charge in his back pocket as Yarnasy rotation by Vici-Gaming. Fenrir is now there as Jay might be in a world of hurt. The Fable will be there, but the Light Strike perfectly timed. Looks like Magnus is going to end up dying to the creeps regardless, but here comes Oa as looks like Lina managed to poke her head out a little bit too far, and Jay, interesting enough, gonna buy back. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. It's the missile gonna fly in, but it seems like the Mineski Sports gonna give up their chase. I'm not too sure why Jay bought back, but I don't think he lost too much. Keep in mind, buybacks at this point in the game only cost me 2 to 250 gold, and Jay is probably going to use this time to get more experience. And you can see he's been able to get level 7. Magnus is going to teleport himself to the bottom lane, and we'll see if Barrett is aware of this happening as, oh no, JVN going to be allowed to, RP is going to be used, Firefly not going to do nearly enough to kill off the onslaught of Vici-Gaming, so Barrett will die.
What made you think you stood a chance?
And delaying the Barrett or dagger is going to be of the utmost importance. This dagger will be very, very delayed. You can see Barrett picked up bottle, wand, salve, and stout shield. He doesn't even have boots just yet, so this dagger might be picked up at around, I don't know, 17 minutes? And I think Mineski might be time for them to stack the jungle camps so they can just get Barrett. And you can see they are going to use the camps to give Gyrocopter a bit of farm, but I think Mineski really needs that dagger up on Barrett. Otherwise, Quap, Leicester, Magnus could become a huge problem that Gyrocopter probably will never be safe. You know, Jay just roaming on the bottom lane really wants to get a kill up on this Quap, but is wasting a lot of time in doing so as Barrett did rotate to the mid lane, sensing an easier matchup because the CS was heavily denied. So I guess a good rotation, Mineski. Nice Dream Coil as the orb did just manage to hit on just the tip, and Jay was able to pick up on the last hit, so really well played by Jay. And that's going to give Barrett a little bit of extra CS as, oh no, Yanni once again going to be allowed to. Soul Assumption will be dropped relatively soon, only managed to get 3 charges, so Yanni will be able to escape. Lifestealer was just a little bit too slow in the pursuit, and Mineski going to be very, very pleased to get up Oa in exchange for losing their Gyrocopter, but still, this Tron is not going well for Mineski thus far. Jay is back in the battle, but doesn't have his ultimate and does not even have full mana as XG will be there. Keep It Light was able to kill off Lina, but Jay will probably die. And keep in mind, he already uses Biox, so this is going to be a huge loss for Mineski if they lose the puck. Puck juking as if his life depended on it. The Shockwave whiffs just barely, but the open roots is there, and Jay will definitely die as they want to get Leicester the last hit. They are going to be successful in doing so, but here comes Barrett back on the assault. Will be able to pick up Fender. Does have that flying vision, but Dyer's Cur did get killed by CSMJ. Great awareness by the Leicester, and Barrett are very, very hesitant to keep up the pursuit. He does have the lasso, and he wants to get more stacks before he does so, but Queen of Pain is now back in the midst of everything. Here comes Oa, pushing people with the Fable as well as reducing damage. Sonic Wave going to be used. It whiffs Oa, but lands square on the face of the Barretter. And Vici-Gaming, when everything's said and done, still have the same kill advantages they had before, but Leicester did not die. Queen of Pain did not die. And I think another of Mineski's heroes bought back, and the Dire Courier died, so really, really unfortunate. And the fact that Puck bought back in the mid lane engagement, he didn't die in that last fight, means that his dagger is going to be delayed, and Barrett's dagger is already going to be delayed, and Rubik going to end up perishing as Queen of Pain. And look at the wards being placed on Vici-Gaming. They know that Mineski, one of the ways they can come back is farming jungle, so Vici-Gaming just never going to let that happen. So Vici-Gaming playing with a lot more confidence than they did in game 1, really, really crushing Mineski in this early part of the game, but still, this is a long game, and if Gyrocopter can find enough room, he will be able to do quite a bit, but still, I am a bit concerned if Vici-Gaming will ever let the Gyrocopter get enough room to do just that. And again, this Barra dagger will be super delayed. The Puck dagger, as it is, will be delayed, just considering the current levels of farm. And you could expect Vici-Gaming to play extremely aggressive, knowing that they don't want to give Mineski time to farm up, but in order for Mineski to make up that gold, maybe they will go on the offensive and try to get some more kills rather than just farming it up, as Puck was able to kill off Queen of Pain on the bottom lane. Nicely done by Jay, but here comes the advance of Vici-Gaming. They're going to find Oa gonna most certainly die, as they're probably gonna let Leicester pick up the last hit. ZSJ more than happy to snatch that one up, as even though Mineski were able to get a D-ward off, not gonna be enough, and Mineski gonna try to D-ward their entire jungle, knows that they have to protect the stacks. But still, well played by Jay, was able to get a kill off on the bottom lane, and that's gonna be quite good in terms of boosting his farm slightly, and he will be able to pick up a slightly quicker dagger. Unfortunately, no streak up on the Queen of Pain, so Jay was not able to get a huge bounty, but nonetheless, he can't be too displeased on how that engagement went. You know, Barrett are going to rotate to the bottom lane. Queen of Pain going to venture there as well. And Vici-Gaming, one of the unfortunate things since they play so many wards on the Dire side of the map means that their jungle is going to be completely unexposed. And that's why JVN is waiting so diligently. And Queen of Pain knows that Dream Coil is down, so this could be a bit of a mistake. Barrett is there, but Vici-Gaming, oh, C2I will be caught out, but just a little bit of slow reaction time by both players. But nonetheless, the Dire were able to claim one tower in exchange for losing their top tier 1. And overall, I think that tower trade does favor Vici-Gaming, because now Gyrocopter are definitely going to be a lot more fearful. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Vici-Gaming is not really playing defensive, they're playing on the offensive, so they're going to be in Mineski's side of the woods rather than in their own woods, so they're probably not going to be in too much danger of being ganked. So the pause does go out. 10-7 is the score. Checking out the goal graph, it's going to be in favor of the Rain. Rain are just farming a lot better. Gyrocopter really being shut down in terms of farm. Really not too much fault of him. Just the lanes by Vici-Gaming were just picked to completely decimate the opposing team's tri-lane. I mean, Leicester, Visage, I can't really imagine a more deadly tri-lane. But XTT might be in a world of hurt, as he is going to be Dream Cold. Here comes Oa on the offensive. Will be able to get... Oh, what? Tying by XTT. Anticipate the Puck orbiting in and managed to get the RP off before Puck could get the silence off. Really, really well played, and Rubik, just unfortunately for him, a tiny bit too slow, and C2I will be on the pursuit. Oa going to take a soul assumption right to the face. Open wound's going to be used. Here comes the Dragon's Life as... Oh no, JFE dies. This is going to be really unfortunate. He is going to die. Barry just going to teleport on there. What a play by the Magnus, anticipating Puck jaunting in perfectly. Jay was not even able to cast silence. RP was there just as Jay jaunted in. So man, XCT just playing phenomenally. Unfortunately, his farm not too impressive, but he has had difficult lanes. And Vici-Gaming coming out ahead in these slow and steady kill exchanges. And, I mean, even though they're facing a Gyrocopter, they have Magnus, so they have methods of dealing with the Gyrocopter. As, oh no, the Leicester bomb in conjunction with Queen of Pain will be there. ZSMJ gonna pop the drums, he's gonna go for a dive, call down gonna be used, but ZSMJ does not care, he has the Rage online, as the Gyrocopter most assuredly will die. ZSMJ did not take any effects from that call down, as Soul Assumption, Grave Chill gonna be used on the Keeper Light. Here comes Jay back in the midst of everything, Firefly doing a lot of damage, Wing Rift will catch out both of the Vici-Gaming supports, as Vici-Gaming going to trade their supports in exchange for a Gyrocopter as well as the Keeper of the Light. Vici-Gaming probably very, very happy with that exchange. But if Mineski can pick up a bird, they're going to be very pleased, as they are going to get a bit of extra gold in exchange. And Jay going to claim 200 gold, so actually, maybe in the end, Mineski won that fight, just on the back of killing those birds. But still, Gyrocopter really not having a good time, and those bird kills gonna make Puck very, very close towards his dagger, and Barrett actually getting relatively farm as well. He's not died in quite a bit, and that means he's been able to participate in a lot more ganks, and has been able to farm somewhat well, as he is getting very, very close to that dagger. And that means once Mineski gets their dagger, they're going to be able to protect their Gyrocopter by going in the offensive against Vici-Gaming. Because Vici-Gaming, they don't really have the most tanky of heroes. Only Lester and Magnus are really that tanky. And I guess you can argue Visage is as well. But Jay going to pick up his dagger is level 11 as well, so his Dream Coil going to do a lot more damage. Wind Rift has been maxed out, so Puck reaching one of his first peaks. He is doing the max amount of damage he can possibly output just on the back of his spells, assuming of course Dream Coil is not level 3. But ZSMJ getting close to that armlet. His farm has been slowed down quite dramatically, but you can see he's still very, very far ahead of the Gyrocopter at this stage in the game. And Mineski, will they defend their bottom tier 1 tower? They should probably try to make an effort to do just that. They don't want to lose any more map control while they still have their daggers. But it looks like they can't really muster up a defense to protect this. They're going to use a Glyph as Puck going to teleport himself in there. I don't know if ZSMJ and Vici-Gaming knows that dagger was up on the Puck, but ZSMJ just going to work, kills off Oa, and a beautifully played Light Strike Ray going to force out a Dream Coil by Jay. Jay will probably be able to escape from ZSMJ. He's going to phase shift and then blink right on out of there. No, can he actually get out of there? Yes, the missile will be there. ZSMJ adeptly dodges it. I think Jay does have the phase shift, but it doesn't matter because Lasso is now in play. ZSMJ doesn't have Infest. He's probably going to get chased down, but look, he's so damn difficult to bring down. He is going to die to the Gyrocopter, who desperately needs that, but no, XCT is there. He's waiting to pounce. Was probably trying to spout the Puck. Will be very content picking up the Barrett as well as the Gyrocopter, as Queen of Pain is in there as well. Gonna drop a huge Sonic Wave all over the faces of Mineski. JVN looking to retreat on either. Flamebreak trying to push back the assault. Just too much damage being pumped out of Vici-Gaming, and Mineski gonna crumble to pieces, but still, it wasn't all that bad for Mineski. They definitely lost that engagement, don't get me wrong. They lost that. But, and here's the but, Gyrocopter got the Lifestealer bounty, so that's going to give him a lot of extra gold. And you can see he's definitely trying to make the most of it. Was actually just looking at Gyrocopter's farm, I guess Vici-Gaming won that a lot harder than I expected. Gyrocopter's just not been farming, and this time it's definitely not his fault. He can't really farm. Vici-Gaming are just warding up the enemy team's jungle. And Mineski, they want to sort of alleviate the pressure on Gyrocopter by going on the offensive themselves, but Vici-Gaming might have too much tankability at this point. At least the way Mineski are taking the agents. Mineski should try to look to isolate the Lina or the Quap, but I mean, those two heroes might just never put themselves in a dangerous position. And that's what something the Chinese teams do better than anybody else. They never put themselves in a bad position as... Wow, did you look at the timing of that as phase shift level 2, not going to be enough for Puck to phase blink out of there. But Lina timed that. What a play. I'm just going to go back. That was sensational prediction. Let's see. I just want to go back if that was a prediction. So, just looking on the Radiant side of the map. Currently they don't see the Puck. Now they see the Puck. They have the rune. And they still see the Puck. They know Puck is walking. Oh, so they saw the Puck somewhat, but they knew the Puck was there. So it might not have been as big as I made it out. It was daytime, so I had a bit of extra vision. So, sorry about that. I might have overstayed that, but still a nice play nonetheless. They kill off the Puck. I thought Vici-Gaming just perfectly predicted where Puck would be, but I didn't know they had smoke. So, a bit of shoddy observing on my part, but still, nice play nonetheless. And Puck being dead means that Vici-Gaming can look to pressure the tier 2 towers on the side of Mineski. It still will be difficult pushing in against the Keep of LA, but they do have a Magnus RP in their back pocket, and just looking at the Vici-Gaming items, has been fished up on the Lifestealer as Vici-Gaming looking to pressure. But Mineski have eyes and ears everywhere. They have a lot of wards on the map, are going to heal up Lifestealer to a pretty solid chunk of HP. Unfortunately for Vici-Gaming, as Queen of Pain actually picked up Yo's interesting item. But you can understand why Quap picked this up. It's because Puck's silence just owns Quap and owns her soul completely. So in order to mitigate that, you're going to use yourself up and be invulnerable until that silence does wear off, and then you can just do whatever you want. So smart item choice by CTY. But one of the things I want to say is, unfortunately for Vici-Gaming, they don't have a mech. And I'm not too sure if Medallion was the best item to pick up first on Visage. I mean, Medallion is going to be very, very good. Mech, I think, would have been a bit better, but keep in mind, Visage, if he wants to use all of his nukes, as well as maybe get a Birdsey summon and using a Grave Chill, he does need a lot of mana, and Mech does cost a decent amount of mana to get off. As Gyrocopter, nice job split pushing, was able to get himself a decent amount of farm, as unfortunately for Queen of Pain and Lifestealer, they were unable to predict the path that Gyrocopter would take, as Gyrocopter not even bothering to teleport. I think he wants Vici-Gaming to once again push on the middle lane, so he can go back to split pushing the bottom lane, but unfortunately that will be thwarted. And Barretter, looks like prediction was somewhat accurate. He's going to pick up a almost 20-minute dagger. 19-minute dagger, really not going that well for the Barretter. But still, he will have his dagger. He's not yet level in, so the lasso still has a slightly shorter duration and has a longer cooldown. 20 seconds actually does make a bit of a difference, because if you want to gank frequently, you definitely want to make the most usage out of every lasso, and 20 seconds does add up. But he will be hitting that level 11 very, very soon after maybe clearing off this neutral camp, but Gyrocopter looking to get that. And Vici-Gaming getting all of their wards counter-warded for the most part, have no wards up on the map, so they're playing essentially blind. They do have one ward, but that ward not as impressive or as significant at this point. And Mineski, you know, doing the right moves, split pushing. They know Vici-Gaming want to group up as 5 and push in. And Jay could be in a little bit of trouble. This tower, oh, RP is there, Light Striker is there as well. Jay just gonna get completely melted. So unfortunate for Puck, but probably should have suspected something was up. And unfortunately could not react quickly enough. The Blink RP was used on the Puck. And at the very least, this ensures that Vici-Gaming can't really push in, because RP was used and they still have Coddle. But still, I mean, Jay really probably shouldn't have died. He probably should have known something was up, should have backed away sooner. And actually killing off this Puck is pretty big, because this is delaying his level 4 phase shift, and keep in mind you can't really phase shift Blink out if you don't have the max level of phase shift. So a bit unfortunate for Jay, but he is dying one time too many. Mag gonna pop the Invisibility. I think Mineski did see him use that, as they have wards everywhere. But Mineski just gonna play very passively, as Gyrocopter trying to pick up a bit more farm. He is gonna go for the Shadow Blade, trying to go for split push. I mean, this is a pretty standard Puno item, go Shadow Blade, because they picked up Shadow Blades before he even got buffed. But still, it's a good item in this game, because I don't think Mineski want to fight at this point. They want to split push, and Shadow Blade will allow Gyrocopter to do that more successfully. And I'm glad to see Gyrocopter is playing a bit more ballsy this game, instead of playing so very passively. And I guess, you know, that's what you can expect when you're not playing against a Wisp. But still, I mean, he wants to be there for a team fight. They don't want to give this tier 2 for free, as the SMJ going to dodge the Illuminate as well as the Flame Break and go to work. But the Rage is going to time out, and that is going to leave him open. And there are double daggers up on the side of Mineski, but look at Magnus's positioning. He is staying so far back. And Gyrocopter, perhaps realizing that he probably won't be enough to defend this tower, he's just going to split push on the bottom lane. So I like what the Gyrocopter is doing in this game, or doing right now. I really don't think Mineski can defend outside of using Illuminate over and over again. And giving up a tier 2 in exchange for all this farm on the Gyrocopter, I mean, it's still bad for Mineski, but at least they're getting something. But Vici-Gaming, now with that tier 2, have a lot more easy time in terms of accessing Rosh, and now that the tier 2 is down, you can see Gyrocopter just looking to get the heck out of there. We'll have the Shadow Blade up relatively soon, about 680 gold, as I don't know if the smoke animation was caught by that ward, but looks like Vici-Gaming going to smoke themselves up, perhaps try to take down a retreating Gyrocopter, or maybe trying to get some more map control, as they're going to run right by a Mineski Sentry Ward, so Mineski are fully aware of what's going on. Even though it is nighttime and Sentry Ward does not give you vision, the fact that they ran right by it means Mineski do know what's going on, and that's why everybody bar the Puck is staying so far back. So I'm really impressed with Mineski's wards. They're doing a lot in this game in order to sort of protect Mineski. But still, as always, is it enough? And at this point, It might be, because it is difficult for Vici-Gaming to push in unless they have all 5 there, just because there's Illuminate, there's Puck Initiation, there's Barrier Initiation, so Vici-Gaming always have to push in as 5. So Mineski, I think, are playing very, very well at this point. They're pretty much doing whatever they can, but we'll see if that is going to be enough, as Vici-Gaming, will they know that this ancient camp is being killed? Gyrocopter going to be able to pick off the Shadow Blade on the back of this huge amount of gold. He started out with around 750, and now he's up to 820. We'll see what he is after this is cleared up. Meanwhile, Mag holding up to 3400. I think he probably will go for the BKB, even though he can lasso it. Puck, not going to be a problem. Keeper Light, not going to be a problem. Gyrocopter's magical damage, not going to be an issue. So I think Mag will go for the BKB rather than rushing the Refresher. And actually, even before the stack has been fully finished out, that is going to give Gyrocopter enough money to finish off the Shadow Blade. ZSMJ picking up the Sange, so it looks like he's going to go for perhaps SNY in order to get the max amount of move speed possible. The race car build, as affectionately termed by Draskell and others, means Lifestealer can pretty much not ever get kited in teamfights, which is a major weakness of Lifestealer. Or he could go for Halberd, but I really don't think that is going to be the case in this game. You know, Jay going to teleport back to base. He will have the 4-staff finished, but Vici-Gaming were able to claim a tower. Puck was able to get something for nothing, and Vici-Gaming were unable to get the stack. If they were able to get the stack, that might have been game over for Mineski, because that was almost 700 gold worth of creeps that Mineski just farmed. You know, Barrett flying high and away. Barrett will probably go for a 4-step, so Mineski just looking to not fight. They're just looking to play as passively as possible. Very, very unusual for a Filipino team, but it is the smart play, and I think it is the correct play by Mineski. But Magnus with the BKB allows him to be a lot more aggressive. And now Barrett has to make a decision. Do I grab the Lifesteal or do I grab the Magnus? Both have BKBs, or do I grab the Quap? Because she has a Yosh, so she doesn't really care about the Puck winning Rift anymore. And I gotta think Puck or Queen of Pain will probably build into BKB. It looks like she picked up the point booster. That could be a casual point booster. That could go into Aghanims. I think BKB is still a good option on Quap because there is a lot of magical damage on the side of Mineski. And they really don't get physical damage until Gyrocopter manages to get maybe 1 or 2 big items. And I'm not talking about Shadow Blade. As Lena was able to solo kill the Keeper of the Light, that ward being placed by Vici-Gaming, able to scout out everybody, but FY gonna break the coil as Lena gonna be allowed to hold the orb. Will whiff as now Queen of Pain is there. Silence with the 4-staff, nicely done by Jay. 1 more hit will finish off the Lena as he's gonna phase shift. Can he blink on out of there? He will be able to do just that as, oh, looks like they were able to spot off Jay and they whiff the Sonic Wave. Wow. A bit of an unfortunate situation for Vici-Gaming. They played a bit too greedily, but I mean, that hurts. They're losing a significant chunk of magical damage in using up that Queen of Pain Sonic Wave. But knowing that the Dream Coil is down and knowing that Puck had to go all the way back to Fountain means that they feel very content taking down Roshan, especially the double damage up on the Magnus as well as the Medallion up on the Visage. And now that Visage has a bit more mana, he is going to go for that mechanism as the SMJ going to clean up the Aegis, and Mineski can only sit and watch. Levels, you can see the Radiant have a severe level advantage, gold advantage heavily in favor of Radiant, experience advantage heavily in favor of Radiant. Radiant have everything going for them. But again, it is always dangerous, and what a play by Jay. Well, not really what a play, but a really smart play by Jay. Tier 1 towers, of course, do not get backdoor protection, and Jay will just try to delay the push by killing this off, looking to cut off the creeps as well. Has to be careful with the blinking RPing Mag, as he's going to cancel it. Jay actually did not use the blink, so he is going to sacrifice his life, but he's going to use the coil, and if Jay can get away from this, oh man, what a play, as Mag going to break the coil, Jay's going to get out of there, and that is going to save Mineski a lot of time. Holy shit. They might lose a tier 2, but their base is not going to be threatened without the RP, and they killed a tier 1 as well. Really, really ballsy play by Jay, as he's doing everything in his power to keep his team in the game, and he's trying to make up for some of his earlier feeds, but he's playing so solid right now. Dag and Puck, I really don't think this is the correct choice in this game, but there is going to be a blink glass up on the FY. Will they have enough damage? Here comes Silence. Orb is going to whiff complete. Jay might have been a bit too hasty as he's going to be orbing into there. Well able to blink ahead, looking to get the silence, but it's just going to burst it down. I think that should have probably been a defensive blink, as now Gyrocopter looking to get back into the thick of things. Centroid will be planted by Vici-Gaming, but the Gyrocopter will be able to clean up the net in exchange for his own life. Blinding Light going to be used just a hair too late. Oh, well, picked up the Rage, so now he does not really care about open wound. ZSMJ doesn't care about Oa not caring, and the Rage times out. ZSMJ going to be kited, but ZSMJ still has Aegis, so he's not too worried. And man, as soon as I was praising Jay, he made a pretty big mistake. He used the orb and whiffed it, and I think that was a pretty easy orb to land because it was used right after the lasso. But I think he just wanted to hit everybody, and Rubik gonna get picked off, and then he blinked in ahead aggressively after he already used the orb. So that means his blink was on Kalon, and he was just destroyed by the Lina as well as the Visage. So even though RP was not even there, Mineski losing that fight does not bode very well, and they lost to Gyrocopter as well. But Gyrocopter looking to make up some of his lost form, getting close to the BKB. BKB of course going to be extraordinarily useful in this game, but Mineski, make no bones about it, they are still very far behind. Net worth, you can see Gyrocopter still 5k net worth behind the Lifestealer. Experience, gold, I mean everything is going in favor of Vici-Gaming. And now the Lifestealer has a Reaver, so now he's going to be even more difficult to bring down, and he's only died once this game, so he's pretty difficult to bring down regardless. But he's going to be even more difficult to bring down once he picks up this heart, and I like this heart choice a lot, because one of the problems, like I said, for Vici-Gaming is it is a bit tricky to break into Mineski's base, because there's a lot of counter initiation, or there's a lot of initiation through the barrier as well as the puck. But now with the heart, ZSMJ can go in, rage, take a couple of tower shots, hit the tower a couple times, back off, regen up to full HP, wait for the rage to cool down, go right in, full HP, use the rage, and gonna give Vici-Gaming a pretty risk-free way of working on that tier 3 tower. And perhaps forcing a Barret or Lasso, and if Barret uses the Lasso, then you can be rest assured Magnus gonna be looking for his opportunity to blink right in and getting that RP up onto the entirety of Mineski. But ZSMJ has yet to pick up the heart, as he does not have the correct amount of gold to do just that. So it will still be difficult for Vici-Gaming to break the base. Now Gyrocopter still split pushing, still a bit far from BKB, but he knows it's dangerous pushing in because Queen of Pei could perhaps blink in, as she is going to do just that. Looking to pick off the Kato, Sonic Wave going to whiff once again. Second Sonic Wave in the row, not doing anything, as Barret not using the lasso. He does have it, as Yule Scepter going to be used on, I think Barret looking to try to get it on the Magnus, but RP was already used. It didn't hit anything. A very sloppy engagement being taken by Vici-Gaming, as Keeper Light was able to kill off Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, Visage was able to finish off the Gyrocopter in the meanwhile. Owa gonna take a lot of damage, but Flamer gonna be there as well. Visage gonna die. Lumina gonna fly in, gonna hurt ZSMJ quite a bit. Owa gonna be forced to buy back. Puck is still there, still square. Not too much mana to work with, as now JVN looking to pursue on ZSMJ. ZSMJ, does he still have the Aegis? He does. It has not yet timed out. ZSMJ, just so impossibly difficult to bring down. Probably will be able to escape Aegis. How much time does he have left? He has enough time to get out. Or if he can, he might just choose to die and get to full HP as well as full mana. You can see he's doing just that, as I think he did have the timer. And Puck with the Dagon can be enough, as Keeper Like and Channel Illuminate. Very, very ballsy play, because Magnus is now back in the thick of things, gonna get the skill up onto Rubik. He did buy back, so Rubik losing a huge chunk of gold in the meanwhile. Gonna heavily delay his dagger. Force Staff gonna help protect Puck as he's completely out of mana. But still, Mineski being driven back. There was only one back, which was the Rubik, I do think. But when everything's said and done, Mineski, they defended their base until they took no damage on their tier 3, so not the worst engagement in the world from Mineski. But I mean, for Vici-Gaming, it went abysmally. RP hit nothing, and Sonic Wave hit nothing, so Vici-Gaming, pretty much everything went wrong for them, and they still came out relatively unscathed. They forced a buyback on the Rubik, they got a kill on the Gyrocopter. I mean, they lost a couple, but still, that's what happens to me with the RP in conjunction with the Sonic Wave. And now the Lifestealer has the Heart of Tarrasque finish, so he's going to be ridiculously difficult to bring down. Puck upgrading his Dagon, so I was going to actually talk about this before the huge engagement happened. I don't know if Dagon's the right way to go about it, because there are naturally BKB heroes Burst damage will be good in terms of bringing down Lina and as well as the Visage, but still, I'd rather prefer something like a Hex, a Yols to protect the puck. Shivas could be very useful as well. But ZSMJ gonna get dragged in. He does have the Aegis this time, but the Force Staff actually gonna pull ZSMJ away from the call. ZSMJ still very much alive and fighting as XCT gonna get infested by the Leicester. XCT forced to pop the BKB, but gonna be more than happy to do just that in order to save ZSMJ. A bit of miscommunication by Mineski. They Force Staffed the Leicester away from the call down, and I think call down, if they managed to get both hits off, might have been enough, but who's to say that it would have been enough. But Lasso is cooling down, Dream Coil was used, and now Vici-Gaming just going to heal up. They didn't use anything other than a Magnus BKB, so they're going to be more than happy to wait it out. C2I just going to use a Scream Pain just because he managed to finish the Aghanim, so his ultimate is going to have a very short cooldown. Fenrir with the gem as well as the mechanism. Magnus is going to work towards that refresher. FY picked up the Force Staff, looking to probably secure himself a dagger. And I don't know how Mineski can defend this Lasso for 10 seconds, but this Glyph and these racks are going to mean a world of hurt. BKB's finished up on the gyro, but he's still not doing nearly enough damage to protect his racks. Is Jay going to blink in, going to silence the Lina, Illuminate going to fly in, going to just touch upon the Visage. As Barrett are going to blink in, he does have the Lasso. Queen of Pain just getting the heck out of the ZSNJ. Will have the missile exterminate him from him as it will get picked off. And still, it is very difficult for Vici-Gaming to push in, but they have the hard up, and they're doing just as I said. They're pushing in as the Lasso going to be used. Call down once again going to be used as well. Looks like it's just to cover the Lasso, as I guess it's pretty smart in terms of just preventing Magnus from getting the RP, as the SMJ taking a lot of damage. Mag still looking for the RP, was unable to find the perfect opening. Good spread out by Mineski. Jake gonna blink in, no man is the SMJ gonna dodge the Illuminate at barely any HP so far. Mineski holding on, fighting a huge battle, and they are gonna look to win this as Jay will be able to pick off the bird. Can he actually escape? He will do just that. Jay, such an aggressive player. Sometimes it kicks him in the ass, sometimes he can make decent plays. That was a good play, killing off the bird. Sometimes he made huge plays, but I wouldn't call killing off a bird a huge play. But still, Mag, as I never really thought about that. I thought the early engagement, Mineski used the call down, and it was a bit of miscommunication, but I guess it was to cover the, or to protect Mineski from getting RP'd, as that was the second time that it was used right as the Lasso was used, but Magnus never really had an opportunity to get the blink in the RP, and as soon as he blinked in, I think, or if he skewered in, he got silenced, and he got obliterated because he had no BKB. Because I think he already used it. Or maybe he did have the BKB, he did use it, and he just couldn't find a proper opening to use that. But now Jay could be in a lot of trouble, as, oh, does manage to get a nice phase shift, but he doesn't manage to get the blink off. Blink is on cooldown, but he is going to be able to orb out to safety using Laguna Blade, but still not the biggest thing in the world. Has a short cooldown, and Talina does have enough mana regeneration, so that's not really going to hurt Talina all too much. And Lina, instead of going blink, going to pick up the ultimate orb as well as the gem. I like this choice, going to get more map control because Roshan's going to be spawning relatively soon, and actually, there's no rewards on the map other than a solo sentry ward from Mineski. Because, I mean, where are they going to ward? They know Vici-Gaming are probably playing as 5, and they just don't want to really take the risk. But it is unfortunate for the Gyrocopter because he really doesn't have a good way to farm. And without any wards on the map, you can't really go and push out other lanes with the split push, and that's pretty much why they got the Shadow Blade, just to split push. Mineski just gonna kill off the mid lanes. Looks like they know they can't contest Rosh, that is already being worked down by Vici-Gaming, but looks like Rosh is being taken relatively slowly as Vici-Gaming not using all 5. Dire's Courier was actually being used to scout it out, and they're gonna pay for it, so losing another 175 gold. They've given up 375 extra team gold to the side of Vici-Gaming. Just on the back of those courier kills. You know, XCT, he's died, so he doesn't have the RP, or he doesn't have the refresher, but does have the RP, and Jay is going to absolutely get crushed, and he doesn't have buyback. I think this will probably be Rax, because Jay is a really key component of Mineski's base defense, and Mineski looks like they agree. They're just going to not bother defending. They're going to Illuminate as well as Con, but they're not going to throw away their lives in defending this Rax. And Vici-Gaming is going to take that Rax and roll with it. Probably going to go into Roshan. They know Jay still has a long respawn time ahead of him. So Vici-Gaming, that pickoff using an RP for a puck, very much worth it, as they're able to take the racks very, very easily. And I don't know, it might be time for Mineski to take some risks. Gyrocopter, even though there is a Queen of Pain with a Leicester combination, should probably just look to split push, and you can see Gyrocopter doing just that. I think he wasn't even fearing the Queen of Pain in the Leicester, he was fearing the RP, which he should. So I guess that's why I wasn't split pushing. But now that the RP is down, he's going to split push a lot harder. Going to look to push out the top lane. Looks like Vici-Gaming just want to finish off the range barracks, or maybe switch in and rotate to the bottom lane. Not too sure. I mean, Puck is still dead. He was dead for 70 seconds because he's level 18. Holy shit. Experience gold heavily in favor of Vici-Gaming. Checking out the net worth. Gyrocopter still around 7.8k gold behind the Leicester. Leicester finished the heart. Picked up a Hyperstone as well. And now, because he does have the heart, he can always keep that armlet on. Doesn't have to armlet toggle or anything like that. And actually with the Empower is dealing 308 damage per hit. This Leicester is an absolute monster. ZSNJ having a lot more fun this game than the last game. As the pause does go out, looks like Yanni gonna be disconnected as Crash is the call. I mean, all is not lost for Mineski. The fact of the matter is, because ZSNJ was maxed out, you couldn't pick up the Aegis. So now if they can sort of disrupt the Magnus, keep him away on the back of Flat Cannon's physical DPS, canceling the dagger, they managed to get the lasso up on the Lifestealer. Mineski have a solid shot at winning the team fight. But still, what is a huge problem is that Gyrocopter is doing no damage whatsoever. He's doing 191 average damage, which is absolutely abysmal at this stage in the game. I mean, Leicester can do that in his sleep. So the lack of damage might come back to haunt Mineski, but I mean, they really haven't had too many openings to get that damage, so you can't really blame them too much. As Mineski, feeling a bit desperate, gonna smoke up. They want to go on the offensive because if they know if they don't get a pick off now, or may get the mag or the quap, then Vici-Gaming are probably just gonna group up once they get all the items and then push in as 5. So Mineski looking to delay that as much as possible, and they know they can't really, if they lose the fight on their side of the map, that is gonna be Rax. But Jay actually just gonna blink and use the Wing Rift, and now Vici-Gaming knows that Jay was smoked up. So cover was blown. I guess that was probably a strategical choice because May Mineski sort of knew that even if they take the fight on Vici-Gaming's side of the map, a 5v5 engagement, they can't win with their current items. But yeah, that's why they're looking for fight, because at least if they can fight on the Vici-Gaming side of the map, they might be able to get 1 or 2 heroes. Even if they lose the fight, it's going to be difficult for Vici-Gaming to push into the barracks. But you know, if Vici-Gaming win the side on Mineski's side of the map, they're going to easily be able to take down the barracks. But Vici-Gaming just going to push in with all 5 of their heroes. Cyclone's going to be used on Jay. He should just be able to phase, blink out of there. Will phase, going to use the silence as well to clear down the creeps in conjunction with the Illuminate. And the siege has been stalled for now. Checking out the items on Gyro, saving up for buyback. No major item progression whatsoever on the side of Mineski. Barrow is holding on to a huge chunk of gold. Not too sure where he's going to save. Shivas or Hex is probably the 2 likely candidates, or are 2 of the likely candidates. C2I going to go for a Lincoln, so Lincoln's counter Bat seems to be the game plan for each gang. I mean, they've given up Bat in both their games, and it seems like they don't really care. AC has been fished up on ZSMJ. Refresher gonna be in the cards for XCT in about 1.1k gold, but still won't have it for this engagement. And I like what Gyrocopter's doing. He knows he's not needing the defense, just going to farm and trying to get whatever semblance of fire you can possibly get. He won't be able to get enough to get a huge item as well as save up for back, but still, if Leicester goes to hit the tower, there's really not too much Gyrocopter can do, so he's just looking to farm up. But the glyph has already been enforced. Here comes the Baron Lasso as Gyrocopter should be teleporting in. He will be able to teleport himself back to the fight, but ZSMJ still have full HP. RP going to be repeatedly cancelled. They're going to initiate on Yanni, but he does have the buyback as RP was actually stolen by the Rubik. Nice play by Oa. He kept Vici-Gaming locked in place, and now Gyrocopter actually doing a pretty decent chunk of damage. Fender very low in terms of HP. JVN will be able to get the double kill on the back of the Flame Rig, and Vici-Gaming, their push is ground to a halt. ZSMJ gonna die as well. He does not have buyback, and he will get picked off. Meanwhile, Magnus gonna respawn, looking to teleport out of there, will do so successfully. Mineski winning a huge engagement. Wow, was not expecting that whatsoever. But that was all on the Rubik. What a play. The RP by Vici-Gaming only caught one. Mineski did a really, really remarkable job splitting themselves up. I mean, in the heat of the battle, they always managed to stay spread far apart, and Magnus was forced to use RP on just one, which was the gyrocopter. They were successful in bringing down the gyrocopter, and then Rubik stole the RP. He just waddled in there. Armea got forced in there, got the RP on 3 people, and that set up a huge engagement. They were able to get a lot of damage. Gyrocopter bought back, was able to do a reasonable chunk of HP to the opposing team side on the back of his flat can. And now Vici-Gaming's push is ground to all, and another engagement could mean trouble for Vici-Gaming because Gyrocopter is starting to get very dangerous. But likewise, I mean, it's getting dangerous for Mineski as well. They had to use a Gyrocopter buyback as he's going to pick up an Eagle Song, looking to secure himself Butterfly, knowing that there is no MKB on the side of Vici-Gaming. Butterfly is a very, very solid choice. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Refresher is going to be up relatively soon on XTT. We'll have it in about 350 gold. Well, 400 gold. And once he has that, then he can use an RP on one and then just get another one right after.
Middle tower is under attack.
But still, Mineski buying themselves some time. Again, not losing too much HP on their tier 3 bot. All they had to use was just Gyrocopter buyback, and that was it. Mineski trying to get themselves back in the game. Goldcraft going to take a slight dip. Experience Graph going to take a slight dip as well. Meanwhile, let's see what Lester decides to do. Will he farm up enough for Boots to Travel buyback? He's going to need about 4k if he does that, and I don't know if Vici-Gaming necessarily want to wait that long. And I guess he doesn't really have to save for buyback because all the fights that Vici-Gaming are taking are going to be on Mineski's side of the map once again. And Mineski's stuck to go through all the towers and through a glyph, so Lifestealer, even if he does die, I mean, the tier 3 might get threatened, but at least all his allies will be there by the time he respawns. So, yeah, Lifestealer probably doesn't have to save for buyback at this point. Just on the sole basis that all his tier 2 towers are up. And Lena, gonna have the Hex, so now it's getting a bit dicey for Mineski because Jay, gonna be in a lot of trouble, Barrett gonna be in a lot of trouble, and even Rubik could potentially be in a lot of trouble as well. So that Hex might be what seals the deal, not the Refresher. It could just be the Hex. And we'll see, yeah, XTT gonna buy it out rather than saving her back again, just because all the fights are being taken on the Mineski side of the map. Barrett picking up a Ghost Scepter, protecting himself against Leicester. I don't know if this is the best choice. I mean, yeah, Leicester is scary, but there is a huge host of magical damage being pushed out by Mineski, or being pumped out by Vici-Gaming. Light Strike Ray, Luna Blade, Soul Assumption, Sonic Wave, Scream of Pain. I don't know if Ghost Scepter is the right choice. I'd really prefer something like a Hex, a Shivas, anything like that. Meanwhile, knowing that nobody's on the map, Yanni's just playing very, very scared. Unable to get really that much farm. So his Butterfly is still going to be a ways away. He might just save up for the buyback rather than getting his Butterfly straight away. And Vici-Gaming gonna poke their head out once more. They know Roshan still has a couple more times, or a couple more minutes to respawn. So Vici-Gaming, even if they lose this fight, they will be respawning in time to contest the Roshan at the very least. Or even take it themselves. And that's a big if Vici-Gaming do lose the fight, so. They're gonna look to push in right now. Try to see what they can make of the Refresher on the mag, as well as the Sight Device up on Lena. I think Sight Device will play a huge role. Puck upgrading the Dagon to level 3. Looking to burst on Lena or the Visage? Perhaps. Vici-Gaming actually going to smoke. Looks like they're going to approach from middle lane and then swing around to the top lane. But just going to play very, very passively. As I don't know if that's Mineski's ward. It is Mineski's ward. So Mineski's ward did not spot Vici-Gaming, but I mean, Mineski not really going to go on the offensive. As Barrett are going to blink in, going to once again snags the SMJ. He's going to get pulled away, but Yo's going to use on the Barrett. RP is going to be there as XTG wants to find the correct RP. Going to use on the Barrett, but does manage to get the nice double RP after using their Fresh Orb. Looks like Gyrocopter will get bursted down. Visage, the only casualty on side of Vici-Gaming, and Barrett or Gyrocopter yet to get the buyback. Doesn't even have enough gold. And I think this might be the end of Mineski in this game. Jay is still alive and kicking as he is trying to go to work, trying to delay by any means necessary Force Staff juking, but Vici-Gaming just probably does not care too much about the puck. And they're gonna work on the bottom barracks. Gyrocopter didn't have enough gold, as Laguna Blade gonna clean up the puck. Puck gonna buy back, and he's doing an admirable job delaying, but still the bottom barracks gonna fall. Vici-Gaming, are they gonna even bother cleaning up the range barracks? Looks like they don't really care too much. As actually it was the double RP in the end that managed to steal it from Vici-Gaming rather than that site device. I couldn't see if the site device was used on the Rubik or anything like that. I've got to imagine it was, because Rubik was just obliterated. But maybe he was caught in the RP. I think he was caught in the RP. And Vici-Gaming just gonna wait for the Roshan and then look to end the game. Wait for at least one RP to be up, and then perhaps seal the deal on their
Dire's bottom barracks
victory.
under attack.
And Vici-Gaming, they know they have to contest this because giving the Aegis as well as cheese just gives Vici-Gaming too many shots. But this courier once again going to be on trouble. The courier going to use to scout a very common Filipino tactic. But Light Strike Ray going to cash out Oa. Oh no. No Force Staff, no Dagger. He knows he's fucked. He's throwing on a Fable as well as a Telekinesis. And he is dead for the next 40 seconds. So Mineski just not having a good go of it, trying to contest this Roshan. We'll see if they can manage to do just that. They have to, because Aegis and Cheese gonna give Vici-Gaming too many chances, and Mineski already 2 racks behind. But it is very difficult engaging. Mag RP is back online. Refresher RP will be back up in 35 seconds. The courier might just get sniped. I don't know if the courier's trying to steal the cheese, but it's gonna get killed for its troubles. As the third courier. As, oh, Jay gonna get killed off. He doesn't have buyback. And I think this is gonna be the end of Mineski in the winner's bracket of their playoff group. Everybody on the side of Vici-Gaming is just way too farmed. And Mineski, they had a good lineup. They played well, but unfortunately Vici-Gaming just used their lineup. They played super aggressively. And that's a bit more common in Chinese though these days. They emphasize the strength of their lineup. RP going to be used. Double RP going to be used. Going to pick off the Coddle. And I think Mineski, they're going to have to GG out relatively soon. Butterfly's finished by the Gyrocopter. Honestly, not going to matter whatsoever.
Stoke those flames. I'm coming in. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Looks like the tier 4s are going to get cleaved down. BKB already used by the Gyrocopter, so now he's played even more cautiously as Sonic Wave going to be used. Trying to kill out the Batter, who already bought back. Batter will probably die once again. Shadow Strike will look to seal the deal. Visage once again picking up a last hit. And Vici-Gaming just played really solid Dota this game. They took it to Mineski. Mineski played well, but I think the lanes by Vici-Gaming were just really what gave them a huge advantage. And once they got the map control, they never relinquished it. As Mineski put up a hell of a fight, they definitely played very solid. Vici-Gaming, keep in mind, they're one of the favorites to move to Seattle. So Mineski definitely played really solid in both of the games, but unfortunately, when it comes down to the late game, they just didn't have enough items, even though they made pretty solid plays. The item differential was just too great. So yeah, Mineski going to be knocked to the losers bracket. Hopefully you enjoy that game. I'll probably bring you some more TI3 Eastern Qualifier casts relatively soon, but thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you next time. Peace.